Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now unfortunately today isn't another true crime video, as it's taken me a little bit longer to research the next case as I anticipated, hence why there hasn't been a video for a couple of weeks. I was going to record it this week, but I have actually just ordered some better equipment, so I'm getting a ring light and a tripod, so hopefully my video quality will increase as of next week if the equipment arrives on time, and I'm going to shoot that video as soon as I have that equipment. I'm so excited to get it. So today I thought we would talk about something that's got everyone a little bit shook up in the YouTube community, and that is the new COPPA regulations that are coming into place on YouTube from the 1st of January 2020. I first watched a video on this morning and it had me panicking a little bit. I know I'm only a small YouTuber, I don't make any money, but I still enjoy YouTube, and I thought I was going to have to stop posting. So when I got in from work, as you can tell I'm still in my work attire, I thought I'd do a bit of research. Now I have found a really interesting video on a thread that was posted on YouTube from a social media lawyer, and even he's a little bit confused by what the rules and regulations are that have been set by the FTC. However, he has made a really interesting video on this, a little bit more in depth than obviously a lot of regular YouTubers will go into, so I will post that in the description box below if anybody's a little bit concerned. Now, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act came out in 1998, and as it says in the name, it was there to protect children's information online. So this was originally in the form of children typing out their name and that sort of thing, but most importantly in the form of cookies. Now, as of I think it was 2013, all of these websites had to confer to this rule that under 13's cookies information was not allowed to be taken. Now YouTube got around this law by telling the FTC, who put the law in place, that none of their content was aimed at under 13's, which we know isn't true. There is a lot of content on YouTube aimed at under 13's and young children. So this is why this has been put into place, as the FTC have basically said that this cannot go on anymore. So YouTube had to pay a huge millions of dollars fine, as you probably all read, and now this new rule comes into place. The page on this on the YouTube community help is a little bit vague. I then followed the page through to the FTC website, but my main concern is that I don't know how this is going to affect YouTubers from different countries. So on the YouTube help page it does say that YouTubers from other countries should check their regulations, because obviously the definition of a child is different in different countries. So does that mean that content in the UK isn't allowed to be aimed at under 16s? There doesn't seem to be any answers about how it's affecting YouTubers from other countries, and especially the true crime community. I would think that this wasn't affected by this law, but I will have to, I look at some of the content that features children and that sort of thing, like child missing cases, abduction cases, that sort of thing. Is that going to be affected by this law? I'm really not sure from what I've read. However, there are guidelines set out by the FTC, and at the end of every help page, YouTube says to consult a lawyer if you're not sure if your video is kid friendly. I do think that it's a bit silly that if you label your video kid friendly, then essentially, if you label your video not kid friendly, then essentially if the FTA rule that it is kid friendly, you can get fined. I can understand the other way around. Now the fines are up to $42,000. However, if you go onto the FTC website and look on the YouTube page, they do say that they take the fine into consideration, considering whether it's a business or whether it's an individual content creator, and it looks like it's mainly going to affect channels that are monetized. So smaller channels such as mine won't be as affected because obviously we're not getting ad revenues. This also means that all advertising content, so that's sponsors, adverts, that sort of thing, have to be aimed at over 13s. Otherwise, that counts as it being kid friendly for obvious reasons. So I had a look at the list of regulations, and I have got them on my computer here, so if I turn to look at them, it's because I haven't memorised them, because I just haven't, I'm sorry. So it's on the official FTC website. So it says that the rule sets out additional factors the FTC will consider in determining whether your content is child directed, and this is aimed at people that are unsure whether their content does contain something that's for children. Obviously, channels that know they're aimed at under 13s, this doesn't apply to. So the subject matter, so it says that channels that create things about finances, travel, interior design and those sorts of channels probably will not be affected by the COPPA rule. So I would assume that true crime would lie under this, because why would small children be looking up murder and that sort of thing? Visual content. There's nothing underneath visual content. I don't know what visual content means, whether that's something that may draw kids in, whether that's bright colours. I'm really unsure what they mean by visual content. It's not clear. The use of animated characters or child-oriented activities and incentives. Now, I've seen a lot of animation channels kind of panicking about this. So according to the FTC, they are aware that not all animation channels, only a small portion, are aimed at young children, and most of them do have adult content, and they do say that they will take this into consideration when looking at animation channels. So hopefully this won't affect those animation channels too much, unless obviously they aim their content at children. Obviously content aimed at children will now not be able to be monetized, and that means that a lot of channels are unfortunately going to be gone. So the kind of music or other audio content, again, this one is a little bit misleading. It doesn't specify what kind of music would classify as kid friendly. So if you use happy music, is that kid friendly, or does it have to be a certain artist? Does it have to be nursery rhymes? I'm a little bit confused. I think they need to kind of expand on that one. The age of models, I don't know, I'm guessing that's just the age of participants in the video. The presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children. I can kind of see this one. Celebrities that appeal to children is on a broad spectrum. I think every child has people that they look up to, it doesn't matter. The language or other characteristics of the site. Again, this isn't specified or gone into detail what kind of language. I'm assuming we still can't swear, we still can't use certain words, so what kind of language would be considered kid friendly and not allowed? Who knows. Whether advertising that promotes or appears on the site is directed to children, which I've already mentioned, and competent and reliable empirical evidence about the age of the audience. Couldn't tell you. Okay, so apparently the FTC is still looking into this rule and how it will affect people, and there may still be some changes. Like I say, it does affect all content creators, no matter where you're from or what kind of content you create. I'm gonna have to remove some of my older videos from university because I've heard that apparently if things have animals in, that can be classed as child friendly, and I don't particularly fancy getting a fine that I can't afford. I'd be very interested to see if YouTube answer any of the questions that are on the YouTube help community, because there's a lot of questions on there right now about the state of YouTube channels from other countries. So I'm really interested to see how this is gonna come out to play in January 1st, and to just see what the response is going to be and how it's really going to affect the YouTube community. I do agree that something does need to be done to protect children's information online, and YouTube shouldn't have lied if that is the case of what's happened, but I'm not sure how this is going to play out on YouTube and whether everyone's going to be able to keep creating content or not. I feel really sorry for those that have a child-friendly channel for under 13s that rely on the income. I'm really not sure what's going to happen. But anyway, that's just my short video on COPPA and a few of my thoughts, and like I say, there's loads and loads and loads of information online out there. Just make sure you read all of it to get a little bit more of a fair opinion. I'm less panicked now that I've read all the information and not just watched a YouTube video on it like I had time to do this morning. And let me know what you think in the comments below. I will see you next week with a brand new true crime video with better lighting and an actual tripod, which is amazing. See you next week, guys.